Good morning, everyone. I'm out at the Eagle Creek Park to hike the Eagle Creek Red Trails, a 6.4 mile loop. The Red Trail is 6.75 miles. I stand corrected. So I'll go in this way and come out that way. So let's do it. This park is located in northwest Indiana. There's no camping allowed here. There's no motorized boating either. Everything is, canoeing, things like that. No jet skiing. But this will be the first real exercise that I've gotten in about 2 weeks. So this is a good start of my day. When I finish here, I will leave Indiana and go into Illinois. I'm going to take a southerly route in Illinois. Normally going to Wisconsin, I'll go north, but there's a trail in southern Illinois, well, 3 trails in southern Illinois that I want to hike. So there is a good chance, well, there's a possibility that I might get to those tomorrow. It's about 8 a.m. It's early. I like getting out to the trailheads early. Less people. And it's cooler. Temperature right now is about 60 degrees. I'm supposed to get up into the 80s today, so hopefully I'll be able to finish this trail before it gets into the 80s. So far the trail looks very well maintained. I don't believe there are any steep inclines or descents on this particular trail. So it's an easy warm-up for the trails that I'll be hitting tomorrow, because a few of those are very challenging. Have my backpack, it's not loaded down. Have 2 liters of water, a snack. And when I got this morning, I stayed at a Love's. Another great sleep. I took inventory of my stuff. I took inventory of myself. I always take my time because it's very easy to forget something. Keys, valuables, yourself. And just as I was pulling out of Love's and I'm getting on the highway, I'm reminded that, yep, you're back in the big city. And I just don't like the big cities anymore. I don't. As I said in previous videos, people are in such a big hurry. They're tailgating you. You're doing the speed limit, but they're like you're in their way. And as I was observing people, these are normal people, conditioned by the society that we live in. There's no knock on them, but people walk around, they're angry, they got a chip on their shoulder, they're short. For example, there was 2 utility drivers. They were driving this large utility truck, and they had parked it, sort of catty-corner parked it, because when you have those big vehicles, there's no place to park them. So they parked it in a corner. That's the best they could do. But this lady, she came pulling in with her Prius, and she couldn't find a parking space, or she couldn't get the parking space that she wanted. And she cussed and raved and ranted at those guys, and all they could do was laugh. I wouldn't have laughed, but that's all they could do. And she was just angry. It didn't take much to trigger her. And that's what living in these big cities do to people. I believe that we weren't constructed to live up on one another. I held the view for a very long time that when people are crowded and shoulder to shoulder with one another, whether it's in houses, neighborhoods, in crowded cities, that those are just laboratories to breed mental illness and mental dysfunction. You know, even on the YouTube forum, and I've said this before, that you have millions of persons from all over the world with different viewpoints and outlooks on life, different life's experiences, all thrown together, in a way violently, all thrown together. And there's no way people are going to get along. So you have that mental dysfunction on those platforms as well. Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, all of them. And many people just act out inappropriately on those forums. They can do so in the privacy of their homes, anonymously, behind a keyboard. And it's just unhealthy. I prefer this. I prefer the peace and quiet. I know it's not for everyone. Some people just like noise. I know guys who don't like quiet cars. They want to hear their car's engine rumble. I know guys and gals who like beefed up stereos. And they want everyone to know that they have a beefed up stereo either in their house or in their vehicles. I prefer the quiet. I don't want all that other noise. This is natural noise. And if my feet weren't so bad, they're not terrible, but if my feet were in better shape, I'd walk barefooted, grounding. That's where the soles of your feet are planted on the ground, and grass, sand. I believe it's all natural. When I was in the Philippines quite a few years back, there was a tribe, well, almost all those tribes, they don't walk around with shoes on. We weren't born with shoes, but the soles of their feet are just rock hard. It's calloused. And they walk around better than I do. It's natural. And what we call progress in modern society, we've gotten away from all that. What we call progress really, let's face it, has ruined the earth. Now, yes, there are some conveniences, but factories pump out pollution in the air and in the water system. And now we're feeling the effects of global warming. And quite frankly, I don't think there's anything we can do about it, because I know that here in the United States, bills have been passed to deal with it, but that's just here. Those bills don't affect the rest of the larger world. They're going to continue doing what they're doing. Sometimes in the United States, we think that we're a monolith, but we have to consider that we're only a part of the much larger human family. But so progress has gone a long way to contributing to air pollution, water pollution, mine pollution. Having worked in information technology, shortwave radio, UHF radio, VHF radio, I know that frequencies are harmful. When I was in the Air Force, I worked on a system. And I mentioned it in my video when I was at the National Museum of the Air Force. I worked on a system called the APX-76 system. Basically allows a pilot to see the enemy 500 miles in front of them. And but when that system's on the ground and working on it, the technical manual is very clear as far as removing rings, watches, anything metallic, because we're talking about microwave frequencies, and those are very high frequencies that burn. And I've heard stories about individuals who did not do that, and they turned the system on and they lost a finger because the heat, the microwaves that heated up that ring so intensely that it just burned through the flesh. Also, I know that certain frequencies contribute to sterility. When I was in shortwave, I was in Greece for about 5 weeks, and I walked through an antenna field. And before I walked through the shortwave antenna field, I called into the control room and asked the operator if they were broadcasting. Apparently he misunderstood me. He said no. So I had to go through this antenna field to get down to this private beach. This is on Kavala, Greece. And so as I'm walking through this antenna field, my skin becomes tingly. And I knew that the antennas were radiating. Now, it's not just the frequencies, it's the length of time that you're in them. And so I hurried through the antenna field, almost ran through it. But yeah, a lot of people think that 5G is good. Well, it's good for those who create it, it's good for the corporation. But for the end user, that's you and I, 5G frequencies are not good. Wi-Fi frequencies are not good. Each and every one of us who have a wireless router in our homes, those routers emit low intensity RF frequencies. Now, it's the length of time that one spends in those frequencies that could have an impact on your psycho viscera, your mind. Now, consider, if you have neighbors, if you live in an apartment complex, you have neighbors who also have routers in their units. In fact, when you connect to a router, you can see their router SSID names. So you have an entire apartment complex that's bathed with RF frequencies, and you're in that. I believe that we're bathed with all these invisible frequencies, 5G antennas everywhere, all line of sight, or else they won't work. Microwave frequencies. And when you're bathed in that, it's only become a matter of time when people are going to start developing all sorts of elements. And scientists and researchers are now beginning to see this. And of course, the corporation, they don't want you to know this. In fact, most of the 5G installations that I'm aware of were done in secret. there was no major announcement that the telecommunication companies were going to be installing 5G antennas near your house. They just do it. There are hundreds of photos where 5G transmitters are installed near trees, and you can see the leaves on those trees, they turn brown, and eventually the tree dies. And the research is out there. I don't know if I'll be around to see it, but I believe that implementation of 5G technology will be one of the major things that the world is going to regret implementing. All these new technologies do nothing but benefit the corporation, and they continually charge all of us exorbitant fees for wireless service, all types of services. They benefit. We don't. Not really. Anyway, I'll stop rambling and get on down the trail. This trail is nice. It's beautiful. No insects, no spiders. Someone's walked this way, because if they hadn't, there'd be spun silk across the trail. So I thank those persons, or that person who's in front of me, who paved the way. I met a nice group of 3 about 5 minutes ago. They were very nice. They're from Indiana. They were telling me about the state and how expensive everything is. And they're looking to moving out of the country. And they're looking at moving to Mexico. And I talked to them about Panama. And they said, "Oh, what it's like down there?" I says, "I recommend taking a tour to find out, but I think it's nice." So they were taking copious notes, shared email addresses. So just meet so many nice people when you're out here off the beaten path. And it's so quiet out here. It's like, man, once you leave the noise of the city, it's a whole different world out here. But the Eagle Creek Reservoir is about 1.5 miles, maybe 2 miles up the trail here. But the trail is clearly marked and very easy to walk. So I'll see you guys further down the trail. Over there. Eagle Creek Lake. Beautiful trail. And there's the lake off to my right shoulder. Going up. Okay, take the alternate. I'm too tall to go under it, but I'm tall enough to go over it. Seven miles, not bad, coming off of a trail. Like I said in the beginning, I went in right there and I came out over there. That was a nice hike at the Eagle Creek Park. I hiked the Red Trail, a 7-mile loop. I'm gonna get on down the road and I'll talk to you guys in the next video.